G'day guys, and today Shorty and I are going to review the game which is between the Western Bulldogs and Geelong at Simonds Stadium, mate. It was Geelong by 8 points, and the headline for this week is Cats win in a dogfight.
Oh, look out, nice. I like it.
Thanks, mate. I was even going to ask you before the video what you thought of it, but there you go.
No, he didn't. I was like, gee, I wonder if he's got the headline covered, but he's got it already. It's all good.
I'll try to be all over it, mate. You were covering a game, and will be for the next 2 weeks. Well, you do every week. And they'll be at the same time for the next 2 weeks. How did you listen to it? How did you hear it?
Yeah, I'm hardly going to see the Cats play because of these Saturday afternoon footy, but duty calls, mate. I was at Port Arlington with reasonable reception on the old radio, so I was pleased about that.
No, that's all right.
So, yeah, my thoughts won't be as in-depth as yours, mate, but look, from what I heard, we came to play, I should say. So, that's always good.
It's a my call.
Yeah. At times I felt listening that you were sort of waiting for the Dogs to really fire up and play the footy that we know they can. And I was sort of thinking, gee, we haven't made the most of our opportunities here, especially in the first half, and it's not going to be enough. But I guess credit to us, we kept chipping away at it, kept going, kept fighting our way, and we found a way, I guess. Yeah. And I suppose that's the positive, isn't it? I mean, I haven't really watched it. I've seen a few highlights, but it certainly wasn't one for the archives. It wasn't a fantastic match. Both sides struggled to take chances.
They did, yeah.
But we got the job done. So it took a bit of grit and there was a bit of pressure on us. The Dogs are a good side. I mean, I don't think me or you gave them a massive chance. The Cats, that is.
No.
Slim chance, of course, but they were, back to more so what we expect from them, really. I think the Dogs were a touch off. We won the contested footy by about 20 odd, I think, which is a big tick, especially on the Tizio 100 show.
Fantastic.
We always look at that one. And the clearances we drew, I think, one behind.
Correct, yeah.
Won the centre clearances, but when you take into account that Selwood wasn't there, he probably wins anywhere from 5 to 10 a game. That's pretty damn good. So they're my points, mate. A bit general, but I didn't see the game. It's always tough when you don't see it. I mean, it's one thing listening to it, but sometimes JB and Daddy Frawley just talk about random stuff.
They go all over the place.
Goal, so you can't help that. But how did you see the game, buddy?
Well, I watched it again this morning. Oh, I haven't watched it all, so watched it this morning, the replay. So, it was a good game, mate. Well,
Saturday afternoons are busy, aren't they?
Good to get a win, yeah, they are. You cover the game, and I watched the game along with umpiring the game. So, there you go. But a few technical points, I guess. Look, yeah, our defence was really good, I thought. They played really well and put plenty of pressure on the Dogs' forward line, and that obviously stopped them from scoring as much because they did have it in there quite a bit. At one point in the third quarter, I think they had 17 or 19 inside 50s, and we were efficient. We capitalised on a few opportunities, which I'll touch on in a moment. But the kick up forward for us was pretty poor, as it has been, and probably for both teams, but more so us. I think in the first quarter, at an intercept mark in the forward 50 for us by Dogs. So it's just sometimes frustrating when you have a good build-up and then you kick it in the 50 and it just goes straight back. It's just like a ultimate handbrake and very frustrating to watch, as you know, mate.
Oh, yeah.
But the transition was pretty handy from all reports. We moved it from the back line up to the 50 pretty well, but it's that next kick in that we really have to work on, which we've said in the past as well. But both sides are pretty wasteful inside 50. Not so much as us as opposed to the Dogs, which may have given us that final result of the 8-point victory. But there was a nice little play in the third quarter where we had, I think, 3 entries in a row, and we got 3 goals from it, so that was the game right
That's
there.
what you want, isn't it?
As I said before, yeah, you certainly do want that. But we played pretty well. Had some good, solid contributors throughout the game, and they did their job, and we got the result, which was almost unexpected. We expected the Dogs to win, so immediately our expectation is better than what it had been had we lost. So
yeah.
I was pretty happy with the win.
Interestingly, I saw the Dogs were about $2.50 on the betting, I think. I mean,
couldn't
Geelong
believe
were
it.
the favourites, but no doubt we were not favourites. We know the Cats better than most, and there's no doubt the Dogs blew it there. That was one for their 8 chances. And I guess ours, even though the Dogs are probably more so in the running than we are. So that was one that got away, definitely. No doubt. And the media may not think so, and the betting guys may not think so, but no doubt the Doggies will.
Well, generally when we're tipping against Geelong, it means the majority is as well on the tipping and betting markets. But surprisingly enough, people backed in the Cats at home, which they've been poor at this year, and an 8-point win and a 9-point win at home this year. So certainly some close ones.
Yeah, which I think that was on yesterday's thinking, really. I mean, I think we're in the moment without pumping our tyres up too much. I think a lot of people look, Cats at home, you just almost automatically tip them. So good on the Cats for getting the win.
Yeah, we'll take it.
It was a very good win in the circumstances, but from a Dogs' point of view, that could be pretty costly, I think.
Ooh, yeah, we'll find out in a few weeks' time. But we're getting the votes, mate. Tougher for you listening to about the stats and listening in helped you out a bit.
Yeah, it is a bit tougher, but I think Caddy was best on ground. I gave him the 3 votes. I think he had the 37, and I can only imagine quite a few were contested. He loves a contested ball.
Yeah, he loves it.
I think he kicked a goal in there as well. So
yeah, he did. Yep.
I gave him the 3 votes. I gave 2 to Kelly. I felt, especially early, he was very prominent as a loose man. I found plenty in the footy, 31, which would be almost his best in the last couple of seasons. I reckon
he had a good one against North Melbourne, I think, last year at Simonds. But
that's right, he did too.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have clocked up 30 touches too often since his real best days. And yeah, I thought he popped up in important moments, again, from listening on the radio. And I gave 1 vote to Mitch Duncan. I think he faded out a little bit, but I felt that he was just dominant early.
True, yeah.
Fumbled at times, but from what I could hear, and I think he had 10 in the first quarter, just about. He was,
I'm not exactly 100% sure on that one.
Started the game really well, and he's a great asset to us. And look, if we didn't have him in there and no Selwood, it would have been all sorts of trouble, So,
very trying times, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I thought Bartel was pretty good too. Montlop as well, and Blitzarves just keeps, whatever role we throw at him, he keeps doing it well. So
that's it. Yeah, it's tough to give votes, especially for that one. It was not quite easy to sort of give a man a vote because there were 3 or 4 good ones behind the one you just picked.
That's right, mate. How have you seen that?
Oh, intriguing, mate. You gave Duncan the 1. I gave him the 3 votes. I think it's just fantastic the way he's come back from, was it in Sydney when he did his ankle or foot? I think it was his foot actually. So
yeah, he broke his foot, didn't he?
Something along those lines. It's never good to do that. He got
that's not what you want.
He got the 25 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles and a goal. But what I loved about it all was how clean he was. His hands are as good as anyone's, and the goal was pretty smooth. And his kicking, you just love to watch it because it just always goes so straight. But he gets the 3 more so on how impressive he was coming back into the team and the impact he's had. As you said, if we didn't have Selwood and him, it could have been a vastly different result. So I thought he was great. And the 2 votes to Josh Caddy, as you'd expect, who was arguably best on ground, but not in my books, obviously. 37 disposals, 5 marks, 7 tackles and a goal. I could have easily given him 3 and Duncan 2 actually, but I didn't go that way.
Didn't. That's
I didn't. No, Caddy was in and under all day, and I don't like his disposal at times. It can be pretty poor, but for the most part, he was quite sensational, winning it on the inside and breaking away on the outside, which he loves to do from a contested situation.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then the 1 vote to Stevie Motlop, I could have given it to... I really wanted to give it to Murdoch, but I looked at Motlop and what he did. It was tough to go past him, to be honest. 23 disposals, 6 marks, 11 tackles, and also 3 goals next to his name. So we won by 8 points. He's kicked 3 goals. So
yeah, and the 11 tackles jumped off the page for me as well.
Yeah,
next to his name.
I looked at that and I'm like, I can't believe it. I didn't think that happened, but I did. And Motlop was a pretty solid contributor all day, and those 3 goals are absolute gold in a game where goals aren't... what's the word?
Too prominent.
Prominent, that's the word I was after. About to say premature, that's not the word. Thanks for helping me out there, mate. Next segment is the chopping block, which may be more or less a review on the VFL, which you covered today.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. Look, again, I saw the VFL today. Did not see the AFL. I feel like I'm watching more local footy than the actual real stuff, but that's alright. So the VFL was pretty good.
Fair enough.
Selwood will come back into the senior side, of course.
Yep.
Who makes way? Gee, it's a tricky one. I think Stokes starting sub is a bit of a message for him.
Yeah, it has to be him.
Yeah, especially, we've got a few of those guys, like Johnson at times was a bit slow and whatnot. Gregson was subbed off. Not sure whether injury or not, but either way, he potentially could be a chance for a rest because, being young.
Yeah, he's had a big year.
Yeah, exactly right. So, and Shane Kirston's another one that basically, I reckon, got the call up because of need, not because of form.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I guess naturally, sort of, without Simpson, which was a message to him as well. I mean, they dropped him.
Yeah,
Blitzarves moves up, Walker moves up. We need a forward alongside Hawkins. So maybe he was the beneficiary of the matchups and whatnot, because of course Minson was dropped. But
was he dropped or injured or suspended? I thought he might.
Was he injured? Was he? I don't think he was suspended, but yeah, I remember Tom Campbell and Roughhead, I think, or was it maybe just Campbell?
I think it was mainly Campbell, and he was subbed out.
Yeah, so it worked out well for us without a notable ruckman. So there are a few guys that might be looking down the barrel of it, but VFL, as you said, I saw that up close and personal, so I can see and tell you right about it. Yeah, that's right. I was sitting up in the media box, which is, couldn't believe I was sitting there, but it was pretty good. And it was even better seeing Menzel do what he did. He was unbelievable, playing through the midfield. So
wonderful.
Second week running. He still kicked 3. He's just so creative. He just has that extra level of class. Basically, from there's 44 out there, he just has class above 40 of the rest of them. So he just runs rings around him.
Yeah, you see that with Bartel and Johnson, who have played through the VFL this year, and if they play a class above, it generally means good things.
Yeah. And dare I say it, Menzel is 2 weeks away from AFL.
Yeah, heard it first, guys.
Which is fantastic, I think. He'll play next week. By the way, he had 19 touches, 3 goals, 10 contested. Very good. But again, he only had 3 in the last quarter, so he ran out a bit of steam. But I think get a bit more run in his legs next week, and then the week after, I reckon he may be in line for a senior return. But
the Raw will be unbelievable.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic to see. And unfortunately, I may not be able to see it possibly, but I just realised that. But
you'll be covering another game if he's playing next week or the week after.
Yeah, more than likely.
145 games on the Saturday after.
But that's all right. And Billy Smets was very good, 27 touches. George Holland-Smith, I think, had about 10 clearances. Very impressive.
Good stuff.
So there's some players for the midfield to look at. Definitely a chance. So I think they're a chance to come back in.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Did you have a good chat with Smets after the game?
Yeah, I had a decent chat with him.
A few interesting comments, yep.
Yeah, he was a little frustrated, to say the least.
No, that's all right.
Didn't enjoy the loss, but no, he spoke well, mate. He spoke well.
Yeah, beautiful. All right.
And
awesome.
Good form from Billy. Through the midfield as well.
27? Yep.
13 contested, 5 tackles. He's doing the tough stuff, which has possibly been the knock on him.
Yeah, very good. Very good. That's what we're after, Billy.
But that's enough VFL. Let's get back to the AFL stuff, mate. Next week.
Had a huge game, as always.
When isn't it?
When isn't it huge? We got the Giants, speaking of huge games, at Star Trek Oval. Yeah, they're going pretty nicely, the Giants, even without Big Mummy and Joel Patfull, I think, still out, and I think Phil Davis probably still isn't there, but they've been out for sort of medium-term injuries. But, going away into Sydney, it's going to be a very, very tough game, and the Giants still prove without a, recognised ruckman. Do you know who's rucking for them at the moment?
Be Rory Lobb?
Yeah, Lobb. I heard Lobb yesterday, so it would be Lobb. It's a very tough one to tip, but I think the Giants they're a bit like Brisbane at the Gabba, and maybe even Fremantle at Domain Stadium if you like. They just play the extra a little bit better there, and they're very, very tough to beat up there. We won there by 8 or 9 points last year. It was a very close one, maybe even 7 points. Yeah, we're up by 36 in the last quarter, and then Gold Coast. Oh, sorry, not Gold Coast. GWS went ape, and absolutely got very close. And when I think Boydie took a big mark, and I think he made it 7 points. I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah, I know.
It was so scary. I'm like, we can't lose the Giants. No one loses to them. But as we've seen, the Hawks have lost to them, and a few other big teams, I guess. So I reckon the Giants will be a bit too good for us, mate, unfortunately. I mean, good win against the Dogs, but going away to Sydney, very, very tough against the Giants, who have as much to play for as we do. So
you're still not sold on us, mate.
Nah.
Neither am I, mate. Neither am I.
And you love the Giants, so you'll probably go for them as well.
Yeah,
How do you see it?
Yeah, good points there, mate. I do love the Giants, but look, they haven't struggled as much as maybe some would have thought, have they?
No, they've responded well.
I guess the game's won in the midfield, and I still think they have a top 6 midfield. So people just don't rate Callan Ward. He's a gun. Get around Callan Ward. But look,
Supercoach?
Yeah,
get on him.
Look, I think we're going to have our work cut out, no doubt. I think Selwood obviously helps, but their midfield could just destroy us.
Yeah.
I was looking at the stats, and they actually weren't in the clearance as good as I thought, but certainly on paper they have a great midfield.
So did Brisbane.
Yeah.
And they won the clearance count by 20 today, actually, against Melbourne, which is quite astounding.
Wow, there you go. Just an off-topic subject.
4-12.
Wow.
Nicely done.
Yeah, so I do really think your point about them being a different side up there is very, very true. I think outside of there, you're not quite sure because they're young and experienced.
For sure.
Don't have that full confidence in their ability, but at home, they're very, very tough.
As good as anyone, you could argue.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Hawks there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Despite the Hawks having a couple out from memory. But, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, I'll be tipping the Giants, I would say.
Yeah, same, yeah.
Because I don't feel too much has really changed despite our win over the Dogs. I don't think it was like the Dogs were running on full cylinders and we just matched it and beat them.
No.
We capitalised, but look, I think it's going to be very tricky. I think we're about a game outside the 8. And this is one of those games. We play Adelaide and Collingwood late. But if we realistically want to make the 8, this is one we have to win. We've got
not too many we can't win. And Hawthorn and Sydney waiting in the wings after Brisbane, which is after next week.
That's right. And if you realistically just cross them off, we're going to lose those. We're going to lose to Sydney. We're going to lose to Hawthorn.
You'd imagine so, yeah.
Some people maybe don't want us to make finals. I know my old man would rather not, and rather than lose a final, he'd rather get a bit of pick. I would still love us to make finals. I think it's a privilege playing them. Whether we can win one or not, I really don't know, and I don't think you can know until you get there.
Exactly, yeah.
So if we're going to make the 8, this is one you have to win. And we may have written the Cats off already after the Demons loss, which I still think is a fair call. I don't think we'll make the 8, but for the optimistic supporter out there, I think this is one we have to win.
Yep.
If we're any chance. Don't get me wrong, I really hope we do make the 8.
It'd be good.
But I fear what could happen if we get there. But the fact is it's miles away, and if you're Chris Scott, you're just saying, let's look at this week. So I'm sure that's what we'll be doing.
That's it.
In a tough game against a team that's going to only get tougher to play against in the Giants.
That's right. I think Scotty said last time they're only going to get better. It'll be closer the next time we go up there.
It couldn't get much closer. So
it was already 7 points. It was between 7 and 9 points. So I can't remember the exact margin. But if we can cross out Hawthorn and Sydney, I think we're a better chance to beat Sydney at home, obviously, but than to beat the Hawks at the G. But if we can cross those 2 out, we need to win basically every game. Maybe lose absolute maximum of 3 and win the next 5. Yeah, we need 4 or 5 wins, probably 5 to 6.
That's right. We're talking about 12 or 13 is probably the magic number for finals.
Yeah.
Adding in the fact our percentage is pretty crummy in comparison, so it's not looking likely. And you're right, probably 4 wins, bare minimum.
We'll see how we go, mate. Well, that's the review anyway from Shorty and myself on the Geelong Western Bulldogs clash at Simonds Stadium with Geelong prevailing by 8 points.
That's what we like.
Nice win in the end by the Cats. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe as well and share it around to all your mates. And darijoe does a Geelong Goal video highlights each week, so get around darijoe. He loves that. And also get around catstars.com.au. They also put up a few Cats videos and chuck up our stuff, which is nice of him. I think it's Michael Papp or something. I think that's his name, and he runs the website, so
good stuff.
Help him out and help us out.
Yeah, nice.
All right, cheers for sticking around, guys, and we'll see you all soon.